this computer. Okay. We're good.
It just told me recording's in progress. Now I had to click, got it. All right, I thought I'd start with my favorite poem. It's only 4 lines long, but it's very significant to me. And it has no title. I didn't have any kids. Apparently, God does know what he's doing. Now, this next thing, I bought something on eBay. I think it was not this past Saturday, the Saturday before. And I got a message from the seller. I didn't realize, well, this is the email that I got from the seller. Hello, dear buyer. Thank you for your purchase, but unfortunately, Russia is bombing Ukraine right now. I cannot send you anything from Ukraine right now. If you can wait till the end of the military actions, I will send the item to you after, but nobody knows when it will stop. Maybe better to cancel the order. That's the end of the email. I had no idea where where it was that I was purchasing something from. And I thought it was kind of bizarre that it happened to be the Ukraine. And I thought that was a kind of an interesting little thing.
And he's telling you as if you may not know this.
Mhm.
Yes. And he doesn't know what the rest of the world knows. But what he is conscientious. Can't send it to you. They're dropping bombs on me right now.
It's completely fucked up.
Slightly.
And then there he is
Mhm.
being polite and conscientious toward you and taking care of things. And that's just unbelievable to me.
Oh, it is.
That's wonderful. But that whole situation is fucked up.
It's like customer service at the end of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Wow. Wow.
So anyway, I just thought of all places, of all times, for me to not that I would have not purchased it if it was from there, but I had no idea where it was. Anyway, I'll move on to, it's called Pain and Idiotic Joy. I can't, never could deal with invention. Too mechanical, too cold, too unfeeling, too impersonal. And a funny thing happened in the world. The uniform, the premeditated, the prefabricated world of edifice, of artifice, became mistaken as real, as genuine. The real, the genuine, the natural, unposed, unpossessed, the world of dirt and wood and sand and water and fire and ice became the world of the surreal, became the freak show of basements with dirt floors, coal bins, cockroaches, boys and girls with dirty faces, scraped knees, buck teeth, pimples, broken lines, broken windows, dust, rust, all things subject to oxidation, erosion, and aging, the natural processes of being, a natural part of the world, like pain and idiotic joy. End of poem. Let's see.
Pardon me, I have to close the door. Arlene turned up the television set.
Okay. I'll wait.
No. Good.
So now they tell me, apparently blind as a bat ain't as on point as I thought. Now they tell me bats can see, but they do suffer from severe myopia. I accidentally ran into that. On this miracle invention called the internet. This is called vegan. So now they made a movie about some vegan broad who meets a guy and then her life goes off the rails. Jesus fucking Christine. End of poem. Let's see. Okay. This is could be a poem about what's going on over in the Ukraine. It's an old Buddhist saying, everything is as it should be. Fucked up. Smile, it's all bullshit anyway. Famous last words, I'll never make that mistake again. Recovery is a phenomenon that allows me to be an asshole and a semi-decent human being at the same time. Okay. This is one about when I was still working at the jail up in Doylestown. I tried to do the diplomatic thing, tried to be professional, tried to avoid a scrap in the dirt, but that never seems to work for me, drunk or sober. Seems to be the hallmark of my life. So I guess on Monday, another scumbag tough guy in a yellow jumpsuit is going down. I am serene, compassionate, and forgiving. You got that, asshole? I went to Roman Catholic high school for the first month of my freshman year. A fucking war zone. Yeah, I think I told you about that, didn't I? Where we wore the double half moon buckles on our belts. And we had to have those roller skate bags to carry the books in. Otherwise, they wouldn't give you the books. And then after school, what would happen was we'd go, the subway station was right beneath the school on Broad Street. You'd go down to get the subway car and everybody's belts would come off and they'd roll up with the double half moon on the end of the buckle. And the roller skate cases became the accompanying weapon. And everything started to swing and whoever was left standing got to take the subway car. Okay.
So it was in Philadelphia.
And the weird thing was that was the most positive thing that happened about me moving from Philadelphia to Levittown. I thought at the time. Okay. I'm looking at flowers. I'm looking at bird shit on my windshield. I'm looking at field mice eating lunch by the dumpster. I don't know everything. I don't like everything I see, but I am looking nonetheless. Next one. That's it. I have nothing more to say on the subject. Fuck off. Hey, didn't you hear me? Fuck off. Okay, I guess no, it isn't. It's called ADD. Someone once asked me, what is the meaning to all of this? What is the real meaning of life? I told them, there is none. There is no meaning of life. It's all the same. It's always been the same. Shit flying around forever and it never changes. Never has, never will. But we humans all, to the last of us, have ADD, attention deficit disorder. So every day, all this same old shit seems like something new again. You enjoying the funeral so far?
I would just say that, Al, that back in our time, if medicine was available, you and I would have been on a lot of medicine for ADD.
I would have been on a lot of medicine for a lot of things,
As a young child.
and it wouldn't have helped.
Hyperactive.
Okay, this is called Ghost. Gus said he is the ghost who for years has protected someone with mental and emotional defects, kept him from losing his mind completely, pulled him back from the edge repeatedly over the years, time and time and time again, pulled him out of the dark of depression, pulled him back away from suicide, pulled him away from the constraints of convention, infused him with energy to keep moving forward, showed him enough light to help him almost smile once in a while. So that was an interesting point for you to make that observation, Larry. Gus was my medication. This is called Words for Words' Sake. Just watched a documentary on poets. It was interesting. I've heard the same from painters, other art type makers and musicians. They all got constipated diatribes, intellectual explanations for what they've done and what they do. An insecurity that I find sad. An insecurity, a fear that what they've done isn't enough to do it on its own. They feel the need to explain the nothing of what they've done, of what they do. My observation, grow some balls, just make it and let it live without a chaperone. Oh, here we go. She said, what's that look on your face? What are you up to now? I'm about to hurt that hair on your head. Been pissing me off for years. Get that, sweetheart? Thank you.
Kiss it away.
I wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer to begin with. Now I'm starting to feel like I'm losing my edge. That's one you can take home with you and it'll hit you about midnight. All right, I'm gonna read one more and then we'll go to the weather lady. It's called Micro Mini Stroke. Started noticing some tremors in my hands that worsened as days and weeks went by, then lost my sense of balance. That sent me careening down the stairs, sent my head into the landing wall, made my legs desert me, introduced me abruptly to the street and the sidewalks and other surfaces. The first neurologist I went to sent me for physical therapy. The balance came back, but the hands kept on shaking. Got told I had Parkinsonism, not disease, but ism. Next neurologist I went to see scanned my brain, found some spots of blood. Told me I had a micro mini stroke, and that's what caused the tremors and dancing fingers in my hands. Also found an accumulation of some white shit around my brainstem. Another neurologist diagnosed me with subnuclear something or other that would have me dead within 2 years. But before that, I would lose the ability to walk, talk, eat, and eventually think. That's when I put suicide at center stage. The next neurologist told me I didn't have a mini micro stroke. I didn't have Parkinson's. I didn't have Parkinson's, Parkinsonism, or the subnuclear, whatever it was. What I did have was too much medication to keep my bipolars in line. Well, on that note, I'll go to the weather lady.
That was a pick-me-up, thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
What
it
they
had a
call
happy
in this-
ending.
I was gonna say that.
It's a doorbuster.
Okay, I get to read this. The weather forecast. There's been a slight shift in the weather patterns. The National Weather or Not Service is calling for moonlit days and sunny nights until those damn cows come home to roost. There will be no average temperature. The winds will be from no particular direction, and there's 70% chance of personification. More misinformation at 11.
Oh, thank you, weather lady.
Very good.
Let's see. I want to thank you, weather lady. I always find your forecast fascinating and informative.
I love the
I meant
weather.
disformative. Okay, this is called Tropical Paradise. Here I am in a tropical paradise, an ocean where you can clearly see from surface to bottom, coconut trees, beach lounges, a hotel with 4 stars, 6 restaurants. There are rainforests here, colonial fortresses surrounding the island, an old San Juan, the traditional tourist trap. And what piques my interest most are an abandoned hotel and a sexy housekeeper in the hall. Okay, I have a knack for getting into trouble. For those of you, maybe, no, almost all of you, I've been thrown off of Facebook since last summer. I think this is my 5th time. And these are the kind of things that I get thrown off of Facebook for. And this is the 4 lines that got me thrown off this time. They bomb London. They bomb Dresden. I bomb the roaches. Who's next? That got me thrown the fuck off.
You're on a watch list.
Yeah, well, I'm obviously a fucking terrorist. At any rate, this may have been the last time. This time I'm off for 29 days, and then for 6 months, I'm not allowed to do something else. And I'm thinking about just not coming back. It's just absurd. I can't figure out how to use the word that I want to use without them telling me that I'm threatening something. And anyway, I think maybe this was the last time. I don't think I'm coming back. And I didn't want to, I'm sorry that Paul wasn't here, because I never wanted to get on this fucking Facebook shit in the beginning. And a conspiracy was hatched between the weather lady and this Paul guy who's not here. And they went back and forth to figure out what was a good way to sucker me in. And they succeeded. And then after, I don't know how many years, I said, you know, and I can't take this shit anymore. And I went off and I got suckered back in again. And here I am again. And there I'm going again. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Let's go to the our international news reporter. And her name is Pauline. And I believe she has some, I think she
Okay.
just had it. Are you
Okay.
awake?
I'm awake. Can you hear me?
Well, yes, absolutely. Did you
Okay.
hear what was
I can-
going on over on this side?
I can hear you. Wait, I'm just
I'm
gonna make it
leave my car
louder.
parked at the end of the driveway.
Well, I know that the motor was on and I was a little worried about you.
That
And
was
then-
3 days ago.
Oh, I know, but it's.
You know, you and the weather lady are quite the pair.
Oh, well, let
Okay.
me tell you about the business report. You may like that since you wrote it.
Okay,
Okay. The Nantucket Board of Directors has announced their approval of raising the monthly condo fees to $10,000 a month to cover the projected $5 million cost for demolition of the existing swimming pool that was used by 13 people last year. And a replacement pool to be built by Tony's cousin Vinny Incorporated and his second story construction crew. Tony says Vinny says the project should be finished at some time or another and might run over budget, of course. And as Bartlett and James used to say, thanks for your support. Back to you, Al.
and thank you very much. That was, once again, just like the weather lady stuff, very informative, enlightening, and dysfunctional.
Well, if you don't live here, then you don't know what's going on, but this will
Nope.
tell you.
And now we do. And now after this, I'm gonna go up to the attic, hook up a rope to one of the rafters, and then jump down the ladder that got me up there in the first place. Okay.
We lost Larry.
Yeah, I noticed that.
We lost Larry. Did Larry go to the bathroom again? Larry, are you there?
Nah,
He's
He left.
disconnected.
he'll come back.
We'll be back. I'm monitoring for the return
Okay.
of Larry.
This is another one about the weather lady. She and the pooch are off for their afternoon walk of dog, as is their wont to do on each and every sundry afternoon. So let it be written. So let it be done. God damn it.
Neither rain nor snow. nor
I
hail.
know. That's right. And they do. They go out in blizzards and hurricanes and I'm glad of it, because otherwise would have dog shit and piss all over the house. Okay, this is called sliding board. I took an extended trip down the surface of a never-ending sliding board. Took me straight through the great emerald curtain of the great emerald paradise of Oz. The con artist, real estate agent calling the shots, selling placebo vitamin supplements to all the suckers who went to the boardwalk on vacation. He offered mescaline. He offered Benzedrine. He offered white powder, black powder, crystal meth. Went further down the sliding board to the toll booth. The gruesome gatekeeper of hell wanted my essence. That's the deal. That deal or no fucking deal at all. Kind of shit that goes through my mind about 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay, my right hand's got a mind of its own. The left is codependent. End of poem.
Wow.
Thought I heard, okay. Ever watch a day lilt, wind pull into a rest stop, evergreen needles dance in the still? End of poem.
Maybe we should be making T-shirts out of some of these short
Yes.
poems.
Yeah.
They would make good T-shirts.
Well, get to it.
People won't
You do
understand
it for the
it.
ladies' organization. What the fuck, honey?
Merch, 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 merch.
I do that with the toilet every morning. Okay, this is called The Interview. This is actually a brief exchange that I experienced in an interview. So the lady said, I contacted your references, and they all seem to think you walk on water. Do you walk on water? Well, every time it rains. End of poem. Let's see. The words locked themselves in the broom closet, refused to come out. I kicked the door down. Boy, do they get pissed off. End of poem. This is a piece of advice that my grandmother once gave me. Once you get the bastards down, make sure they don't get up. End of poem. Okay, good news. I'm not depressed anymore. Better news. I've moved on. Now I'm suicidal. End of poem.
Oh,
This is called The Most. I'm the most flawed son of a bitch ever birthed on this planet. And I'm just fucking great with that. For real. End of poem. Doctors are like auditors. Their job is to find something wrong. End of poem.
Ferber's fables.
What's that?
I said those sound like Ferber's fables.
Well, they very well might be without him knowing it. Okay, this is called The Next Chapter. Who knows? The next chapter could be the last. The next chapter could end before it begins. All I know is I'm approaching it under the law of everything changes. I'm growing weary of giving therapy, of giving instruction, of trying to present things in a new light. I'm growing weary of trying to save lives. I'm growing weary of getting up at 6 a.m. and driving 40 minutes to the place of lockdowns. I'm growing weary of walking. I'm growing weary of talking. I'm growing weary of writing. I wonder if the magic of painting will ever return. My legs don't move like they used to, so I don't know if I can dance anymore. I wonder if I ever, if I do have one last fight, and will it kill me? Probably should have had it 15 years ago, but don't know if my adrenaline is working like it used to. Don't know how much longer my sex drive can come out of the corner and answer the bell. I can see the excitement waning. I can feel the excitement waning, but I can also feel, at the very least, one last fight rising in me, whatever form it takes. End the poem. Okay, okay. I need some more time to fuck off, fuck around, kill time, daydream, fantasize, reminisce about the good old days, construct my history, write, paint, sleep, make a list of all my friends who have died, look in the mirror and come to terms with who I've become, make a list of all my friends who haven't died, decide whether to go to the 60th high school reunion, try to figure out why I still feel like I'm in 7th grade with a cherry bomb ticking in my pocket. End of poem. Okay. Let's see, what do we got here? All right. This called they come out at night and afternoon for lunch or dinner and or libations at Tangier Cafe, 8th and Lombard. Am I going too fast? No? Okay, for lunch or dinner and or libations at Tangier Cafe at 18th and Lombard Street. Tuxedoed members of the Philadelphia Orchestra, dancers from the Pennsylvania Ballet Company, newscasters from ABC, NBC, and WCAU, the publisher of the city paper, a prominent defense, Philadelphia defense attorneys, physicians, anesthesiologists, nurses, bartenders and servers from other bars and restaurants. Excuse me. I feel like I'm testifying before Congress. The hooded would-be robber, the woman with her pants pulled down below her ass, the ladies of the evening, the crack-crazed dishwasher, bookies, cocaine dealers, actress Elizabeth Ashley, actor Jack Palance, sportscaster Bill Campbell, TV personality Geraldo Rivera, Eagles broadcaster Merrill Reese, playwright Don Evans, the good, the bad, the ugly, the famous and the infamous, the common and the uncommon in force. End of poem. Okay. It's called temperature. Each day we've been here, there's been a temperature of about 84, humidity about 65, heat index of 88, just a bit beyond my range of tolerance. The ocean breeze making it barely tolerable. Go ahead, tell me I should be grateful. to sweat here at the edge of the Atlantic and the Caribbean, here on the edge of prosperity and poverty. Tell me I should be having the time of my fucking life. End of poem.
He's a joy to travel with.
I am. I'm a fucking laugh riot wherever I go. Whatever the circumstances are, whatever time of day or night or year or what season it happens to be, I am Mr. Pleasantries. Everyone has the right to bare arms and bare legs and bare chests, too, for that matter. End of poems. For some, for some, a lie will do as well as the truth, even when the truth don't have a downside. Okay, end of poem. And let's see. My cousin, who calls me bro and I call sis, may or may not have anything to read. You have anything to read, my sis?
Yes, my bro.
We'll both get over that.
But it's not one of yours. I hope you're not offended.
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Jane Goodall is one of my heroes. I just think she's a remarkable woman. And there's just a quiet wisdom about her that I really appreciate. I enjoy seeing her interviewed. And one time she was interviewed on Bill Moyers, and he asked her to read one of her poems, one that she wrote early on. And it's called The Old Wisdom. When the night wind makes the pine trees creak and the pale clouds glide across the dark sky, go out, my child, go out and seek your soul, the eternal eye. For all the grasses rustling at your feet and every flaming star that glitters high above you, close up and meet in you the eternal eye. Yes, my child, go out into the world, walk slow and silent, comprehending all, and by, your soul, the universe, will know itself, the eternal I. Think I'm having an existential crisis?
For as long as I've known you.
What did you say?
I said for as long as I've known you.
Really? The eternal seeker, yeah. That's all I have. I
Okay.
moved by
Okay.
her.
I'm gonna read a few and then switch off to my co-conspirator. This has no title. We all got two piles of shit. Shit we can't do a damn thing about, and shit we can do something about. All we got to do is separate the two and be cool with it to have a good life. That's it. That's simple. Too simple for most. The good news is there are countless things and moments in nature that are mind-boggling, interesting, and beautiful on this planet, inside this planet, in this universe. The bad news is so many, way too many of us are too myopic to see, much less appreciate them. I happen to be one of them. Okay, this is called Poetry Has No Purpose. Dude, through his myopic mouth, said, The real poets are the carpenters, the plumbers, and the electricians, people that really add value to life. Poetry has no purpose. I, through my loud, abrasive mouth, said, well, sure, if you're mired in or limited to the physical, the surface, the edifice, go for it. Poetry would be of no purpose to you under any circumstance. End of poem. It's called Through a Closed Window. A literal white picket fence, snow-covered road, bushes and trees surround a nature preserve and a moon that hangs lonesome in the sky. End of poem. I'm sure I'll regret reading this. She inhabits the world, brings joy to it, grabs it by the throat, breathes life into it. I observe the world with disgust and derision. She tolerates me for some unspeakable reason. She has tamed this savage beast to where I am only a danger to others. She's one hell of a therapist, that bitch. Okay. Oh, all right. So I said to her, let's rub our legs together like a pair of horny crickets and see what happens. End of poem. Mr. Hop, would you like to impart some words at us?
Yeah, yes, I would. These are also not Al Ferber poems per se, but I like to think some of them could be Al Ferber poems. Beginning with, you can, obviously I do not have the final say in that, but beginning with I have to begin with the German philosopher version of Ferber's Fables. Although I guess Ferber's Fables would be a German philosopher or German American philosopher in a manner of speaking.
Part German anyway.
But Wittgenstein wrote copy for fortune cookies, messages in bottles that washed up poets down on the rocks at the motel bar, restroom graffiti where there's no rest for the road weary, the words that followed your tattoo home when you wanted to cover it up the morning after.
Cool.
And oh, Larry is back. The
Is he in the
return.
basement?
No, actually the basement is in this next poem, but Larry will be joining us
Larry's
first.
beneath the basement? Does the basement have a
There he
crawl
is.
space?
I can see Larry's name.
I can see Larry's name too. Is
Connecting.
Larry back or, oh, he's connecting the audio. Now he's dancing, 3 dots.
Connecting to audio.
Connecting to audio, but not video.
I see his name and then I see chat and pin. Now I don't see his name anymore. So has he been?
There we
There he
go.
is.
There he is.
Success.
Are you with us, Larry? Can you hear me? Apparently not.
Are you on?
Can you hear us there?
Okay, I'm back.
Oh,
There he
all
is.
right, cool.
Gee whiz. I'm gonna sweat.
Well, life is
What
like that
happened
for
is,
us now.
I got 2 malware, which I never get. So I don't
Well,
know.
I've been getting some words. Somebody, while I've been kicked off Facebook, decided to hack my account.
Well, I don't know what happened, but I got 2 malware, so I ended up having to scrub my computer here. First time that ever happened. So it might be on the Zoom app itself.
Oh, good. Then we can all have it and share.
It's great.
Somebody heard the word Ukraine mentioned about a half hour ago, and they're just catching up.
Yeah. I'll fix my ass for sure. Okay, where are we?
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I have a few more. We were on Germany, and as Edgar Allan Poe once wrote, terror is not of Germany, but of the soul. But sometimes terror is also of Germany too, as you know. So this one is for German terror. Eins, zwei, the dry fear that wakes you up when you're almost home. Taxonomies of dread defy the night. The curtains part, a freak show on endless loop. The only warm embrace you've ever known. You are your own phenomenology, stumbling up the stairs at 3 a.m. with mercy out of reach when you're so close to heaven or the back door. That was the basement. I thought it actually had the basement in it, but it doesn't. So it was in the basement.
You have one about the crawl space?
The crawl space, the basement, the bottom of the back door. And I think, should I do a political poem? Should I do?
Do everything.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 more in that case. This one is for, this is the rock and roll, the rock and roll RIP poem of the night for Mark Lanigan, November 2006. He passed away about 3 weeks ago. He walked out of deep shadows and smoke, black on black star tattoos, eyes closed, barely moving, sang, "Live with me," tore you apart, sent you straight to the balcony bar for a shot of vodka. True story, actual concert at the TLA, November 2006.
Cool.
And actually 2 more, because this one is about a 10-second poem. We sell soul, but if you wait long enough, we give it away for free. And here's the political one that I think is a few years old. So it is not, it need not reflect any current political moment, although I will note that the last 2 lines of this poem were appropriated from a Yale Law Journal article in 1991 that could actually be what's legitimately considered critical race theory. But as I said, it was written 2-3 years ago, so it was perhaps less timely at that time. Protest wrote the Constitution. Fugitive slaves freed the slaves. We say enslaved. Our cities were never surrounded in flame. We never heard sirens in the night beckoning us back to the rocks. We never had a dream that the dream was over. We were never told to carry on, wash the blood off the flag, and wave it proudly. As I said, I didn't write the last 2 lines. They the article, but it just kind of fit in there.
Yeah,
So
it does.
take that however you will.
Okay.
Back to you.
Thank you,
End of
sir.
poems. End
Go
of
ahead.
poems.
All right. All right. The planet has music of its own, the music that few can hear. That should have been part of an earlier poem, but it wasn't. It's called Dead Flies. Dead flies creep me out. Now understand, I'd rather see them dead than alive. They don't creep me out when they're alive. Dive bombing my eyes, buzzing, playing tag with my ears. A pain in the ass, however you cut that fucking piece of cheese. It's called Weed Keeper. She has an uncanny ability to keep me deep, deep, deep in the tallest of weeds. End of poem. My dear.
Don't know what you mean.
Of course not. You don't need to know what I mean. I just need to know that you're doing it day in and day out. Okay, this opera house is going to get shut down abruptly at any time because of me inciting violence by suggesting cell phones in classroom get blown up and a fictional character get his ass kicked. Some radical shit right there. End of poem. They're the other things that I got thrown off the WFU network. Any honest writer will confess they know nothing about anything and they are entirely full of shit. And I am an honest writer. It is called The Edge. He now lives on the edge of the blind desert of America, at the end of the superhighway of America. Here, an entire population lives with eyes wide shut to the ills, to the torments, to the vicious evil of America. A population of groups looking down on one another, on fire with ignorance, on fire with the lives of bedtime stories, with the sand of the desert on fire from manufactured strife. Children running through the desert in search of their parents. Parents darting down the freeway in pursuit of a lie that will comfort them. End of poem. Okay, it's called Stairs. When he was a kid, living in a brick house on a Philadelphia street, on some days when he didn't feel like going outside, he would make his way up the stairs to the second floor of the two-story house in the deep closet in the hallway where his parents kept all their secrets and rummaged through them, not knowing what most of them were. Secrets they never expressed except in whispers to each other. Okay. My sister Joanne actually has inspired me to write a whole bunch of poems and not bother to put titles on them, ever since she accused me of being the king of titles, and she being the person who was the queen of not being able to come up with titles. So I haven't bothered to come up with any freaking titles for a lot of poems ever since. So I've just decided it's just not that important. Okay, that soft, warm spot the whiskey provided was long since gone. I was dead inside. My skin was crawling like a million centipedes. Next move, heroin, death in a dumpster. Let's see, it's called Canvases. The canvases await the application of the paint, the faint illusion of a path through fields, a face peering through the side of a mountain, the ferocious mouth of the sun consuming the moon, fireworks exploding in the face of the inscrutable Orient, the unquenchable appetite of black holes, the sounds of armies marching through the night. End of that one.
Yes, that should be a painting.
That should be a painting.
That should be a painting.
Yeah, can I fit it through there and you can paint it for me? You almost had it, Mark. Okay. Empathy. I got it. I got so much fucking empathy. I can scarcely believe it. Let me tell you how much empathy I got. Nah, you wouldn't believe it. Somebody pulled the plug on the revolution decades ago, and all the hot air of a generation came rushing out like a giant blustering fart. Should have kept that for the news section.
Weather.
Okay, here we go. Some days I question my sanity. Some days I question my shoes. Tell you the truth, over the long haul, I'd say the shoes are more responsive. This is, I found, this was a comment by somebody on a TV program. And I can't remember what it was, but this is what I heard the woman say. It says, she said, he's nuttier than a porta potty at a peanut convention. I liked it.
Wow.
That was an Al Ferber poem that Al Ferber, which she wrote. Okay. This is called The Tryst. These people don't need Chubby Checker down here. They already know how to do the tryst. They've got it down to a science. You see them doing the tryst here and there and everywhere. They even do the tryst without dancing. Trysting the night away. They even know the peppermint tryst. Bristol trysting Annie. Tristan shout, dear lady tryst. Trysting is a way of life. Trysting with old loves. Trysting with new loves. Trysting for the sake of trysting. Trysting with no love at all. They have breakfast in the dining room and tryst. Then they go back to the room and tryst some more. End of tryst.
I like it. Yay.
It was just a thought I had.
I was waiting for you to tell them to tryst their ass, to tryst your ass. Tryst my ass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I was afraid of what they consider trysting if I was going to expose my ass to it.
Good setup.
I just kind of punked out on that one. This is called the Bullshitter Prize. Gus said he was recently awarded the Bullshitter Prize for poetry and anal retentive literature, placing him in a long line of distinguished literary bullshitters. Thousands of academic literary bullshitters from every college and university in the country, poetry slammers, workshop nebbishes, e-zine pretenders to the porcelain throne, literary bullshitters of every stripe. And I earned that fucking prize. Okay. She opened new horizons for me. Never had been interviewed and given a list of things I had to do to change on the first date before. Never had food poisoning before I met her. Never had someone fall asleep when I tried to kiss them. And that beat's been going on for 350, 35 years. One adventure after another. Yikes. She said it
Yikes,
was going to be an adventure. What?
yikes.
Hmm.
Did you just end that poem with yikes?
Don't point at me, bitch. Yes, I did. Go down in the crawl space and yell. But leave me the fuck alone. This is the shit I have to deal with. Can't read a fucking poem without a bunch of shit. First, I forgot what I was doing. Then I forgot what I was going to do after that. End of poem.
Can you repeat that? I forgot.
I did repeat it, but it was inside my head. This called He Said, She Said. So he said, fuck you. And she said, fuck me. Fuck you. And he said, I agree. Let's do it. Yeah, this is called The Paintings. Paul and I sat in the coffee shop, our usual Sunday conference. We talked about siblings and lack of siblings, my wife's recent observation. I couldn't help but notice the paintings on the wall. They spoke to me of a woman's light touch, derivative of the Cubist school, but light and airy nonetheless. We talked about some methods I use to run my groups. We talked about real systems that made real sense. We talked about chaos and random madness. The paintings on the wall kept talking to me. I tried to envision the painter, blonde or brunette, long hair or short, age 19 to 25 to 35, body thick or thin, pretty, cute, gruesome, selection of muted colors. Outstanding there in the middle of our conversation. I began to have an affair with her, with my twisted mind. On our way out, I read the tag under one of the paintings, painted by Henry Burke. End of poem. I was embarrassed. I told Henry to go fuck himself. Okay, when I ran my groups, I refused to sacrifice the group for a single asshole. He was out, cut out like a cancer. End of poem. Every single time. If she wants to keep me from knowing about something, not for consumption by my eyes or addled mind, she puts it somewhere I can't find it, somewhere I'd never ever think to look. She puts it on my computer as a screensaver. Works every fucking time.
I want to make sure I get Al's painting in the picture here.
You got it?
Right
That
there.
one?
Yeah,
This
that
one?
one right there is yours.
Yeah, that's mine.
I have it hanging on the wall
Al, look behind.
behind me.
Oh,
Let me point at it. See it?
over here? Yeah. Oh, right, cool.
Yep. I actually hung it. I know the other guys threw them away, but I decided to hang it.
They burned them. They didn't waste them. They burned the fuckers. Okay. My polars are active, both of them, opposing polars, all the time, 24 hours of every day of my life. Why do I lack impulse control? Why do I write constantly? Why do I paint constantly? Why do I collect things that have no meaning or practical purpose whatsoever? Why do I clean up the mess I make only to refurbish it while I clean it up? And I haven't had a drink in a quarter century, but I am addicted to everything. I am allergic to everything. My polars, both of them, are worse than my scrotum sac, which has slowed production, crapped out, yet the libido hasn't gotten the fucking memo. Medications, they keep me from spinning off the planet. But the polars remain at a fevered pitch. My polars are the questions and the answers to all of me, the good, the bad, the bad and the ugly, the uglier, the ugliest, and the good from one pole to the next. Okay, does your toothpaste help you realize your true self? Does your hair shampoo help you achieve your full potential? Do double cheeseburgers help you find inner peace? If so, drink 2 fifths of scotch and don't call anybody in the morning. It's called, I'm going to keep reading until I read the last fucking one of these. 4,000. It's called The Next Chapter. Who knows? The next chapter could be the last. Oh, wait a minute. I already read this.
Yeah.
Read what?
Maybe I made 2 copies of every one that I was going to read. Oh, here we go. Ashley Judd says nights are a savage agony. Good enough for her. Good enough for me. It is called City Light. At the bottom of the city, way beneath the skyline, there are dark alleys where rats reign supreme. Under jaundiced streetlights, small rooms in large buildings with dim lights, women selling their bones for crack, men selling their hands and lips for heroin, thugs rolling widows and senior citizens for their monthly checks, second-story men breaking into ground floor rooms too lazy to climb the stairs, victims of angry knives bleeding on the sidewalk, poets and musicians hiding out, pretending that Armageddon has not yet arrived. This is one by Charles Bukowski.
Chucky.
People are the best show in the world, and you don't even have to pay for a ticket.
Mhm.
That provides me with a constant pastime. Gives me ulcers, but I do it anyway. It's called cleaning up. It's heaven and it is hell, cleaning up the circus grounds. Pieces of clowns from a multi-clown car pileup, horseshit bundles from Lady Godiva's steed, segments of charred corpses from the bonfire in the big top, amidst the overarching scent of smoldering elephant droppings and peanut shells. End of poem.
We need circus music to that one.
What was that?
We need circus music to that one. Do, 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 do.
Yeah, well, Kathy gives me circus music in both ears all day long. So this is the motto for the what are they called? The I don't know, the whatever they are, the Christian pro-life people. Every life is sacred until they're born. Then fuck them. Okay, a portrait of me as a writer. I decided to leave the world of work as a pizza slinger, as a mail clerk, to go to college, to get the piece of paper. Ran into a teacher who on the first day of class handed out a different photograph to each of us with the instruction, write a description of the photograph, specific enough so someone could read and envision the photograph without seeing it. So I did. 2 days later, he handed back the papers to everyone but me. Asked me to meet him in his office after class. I thought, great, first assignment, and I'm already in trouble. He asked me to sit down. I asked him, how bad did I screw up? You didn't screw up. I actually think you have the talent to be a writer. I'm not making any promises. I'm not talking Ernest Hemingway, but I think you have the talent, and I'm going to do everything I can to develop that talent. I told him I have no interest in being a writer. Thus, the battle of the Titans began.
Mm.
He obviously lost that battle. Oh, okay. This is another one without a title. The summer boys wore hot chucks and cut off jeans on summer streets. And the summer girls in loose fitting peasant blouses strutted toward the lions, tigers, and horses dancing on the carousel near the bandstand, the swimming pool, the base and basketball field and court. And love steam rose above all the park benches. I'm afraid that was a real poem and I apologize for it. It's called Caveat Emptor. Gus said, this came from the founding fathers. You know, the ones with the slaves and the shady business associate. Caveat emptor. Let the buyer beware. Keep your eye peeled for an insurance or used car salesman. The job of the businessman is to stick it up your ass, and it's strictly up to the customer to prevent that from happening. A time-old tradition passed down by the founding fathers to the poor schleps on the street. Okay. It's called Getting My Story Together. For the better part of my life, pre-drunk, drunk, and sober, I've been gathering the bits and pieces of my story, minor and major, good and bad, happy and sad, weighted down by psychiatric maladies, charging fearlessly or witlessly into the fracas and the abyss, putting the words on pages, the pages between covers, romance and rejection, victories and miserable defeats, putting together the elements of a life, organized and collated, to hand to the librarian on my way down the chute. Okay, these are the last two, and they're both without titles. My nut doctor has revised my psychiatric diagnosis from bipolar to one brick short of a full load. End of poem. I feel like I'm about to spring into action. Unfortunately, the action I'm thinking about isn't legal. Bless you all, and to all, a good night.
It's not legal on Facebook, but what
Not
is?
legal anywhere in this country. I appreciate you folks.
Hmm.
Mark said he loved it.
Oh,
Mauer said he loved it. Mauer. Yeah.
Hey,
aw.
Mauer,
Oh,
A critic.
I miss all my animals.
Did you have to get rid of them?
No, all they passed away before we moved.
Oh, really?
They died in New Hope, where everybody else dies. Yeah.
Yeah.